Hi, this is Mia. My camera looks like it's moving in slow motion, so my computer might be getting full of too much stuff being saved. It's 7:53 a.m. It's 12/10/2021 on Friday already. I am not really looking forward to the day. I feel when I have to work outside of the home, I feel like, oh, just get through this time, don't worry about all the stuff you have to do. And then deadlines come and go and stuff that I should have done, and I get nervous working, and then my food goes bad because it's produce and I'm trying to not throw away food, so then I'm buying nuts and stuff, and then I'm literally gaining 40-50 pounds instead of eating my regular salads. I end up saying, well, the produce or the fruit's one thing, 'cause it's like peel it and eat, but couldn't rinse the salad and the spinach or the kale and do this and take the vein thing out and put it in something and put it in the dehydrator and blah blah blah, like all that stuff. Anyways, that's a different story. So I have a list here, and the first one is dealing with the holidays. I am in a position where I feel like, as an empathetic person, so it's hard to see, if you want to compare yourself to someone, normal people, are you really any different than anyone else, or are you different because you're clean and sober? By the way, it's the holidays, which generic term that I don't like to use, but it's very understandable. I did have a using dream last night. Bedtime ended up being early last night, and I had a dream that there was like people prepping, like some disaster happened, people were stuck in this. It was almost like this place, and everything was I don't know, but it had something to do with people on some meth. And it was like I was going through the drawer, like I just did, to get this notebook. And I pulled the drawer out on accident, the little one, and this bag fell out. And that was in my dream. I saw a movie the other day where the guy had put this bag, what was it, the Holiday Hope movie. It's almost like the same little square Ziploc baggie. Oh my god, it's so scary. There was this woman, I couldn't tell if she was clean or not clean. People on the West Coast don't like using the word clean anymore, but if someone goes to NA, they're going to use that language because that's the language in the book. Because they're saying the opposite of clean is dirty, so if you're, I don't know. Sometimes you say you're in addiction and you have active using and inactive using. Talk about clean and serene. Which language do they want people? And I made a comment. I was in some kind of medical group, Zoom meeting, webinar. Anyways, so the holidays are amongst us. I care about being politically correct on my language and all-inclusive, but if you go to a meeting and you take it to source, I don't necessarily like going to meetings, but I go. So thinking of the holidays, since I'm trying to stay on topic here, be more fluid. I used to go to meetings, since I'm talking about meetings, marathon meetings in Portland, Oregon. There was a place called Miracles Club. There's still a Miracles Club, but the old one in that really old building on MLK next to, I don't know what, there was like another little building next to it. I feel like, did they tear it down or something and make apartments? That's what usually happens, right? And stuff gets gentrified. That they got a big grant to go move and put I don't know if it was mixed or if it was just a men's apartment complex. Maybe clean and sober apartment complex. I looked into it. Being super busy, I didn't get over there. We used to live over there. It was easier to go to meetings. I met a lot of people that hustled to work. Had those marathon meetings, no charge. People brought food or brought chicken. I don't know where they came up with who brought all this food, and we could have a holiday dinner. Kids were out in the other room playing foosball or whatever. It's a big old room. They had like a big hall, the stage and everything. Had a snack bar in there. Always smelled like old fried chicken. I'm grateful for those. Those are the early days. I had no support system, no support network, so the holidays can be hard. People want to say, oh, these are your problems. What about such and such? What about such and such? What about such and such? If you have problems, why would you, if you put it in perspective and say, I'm grateful to be alive today. That's one thing. I'm grateful that I can walk. Not everyone can walk and still be alive. That's two. I'm grateful that I can see and that I could hear and that I could speak. I'm grateful that I have a little bit of money. It might not be much in my bank account, despite the big student loan. Like, I can just ask or tell God that I'm thankful. But I'm not in Syria. I'm not in Afghanistan. And I don't like when people discount, or I don't know if that's the right word, someone else's problems, say the holidays bother them. What if God's plan is for you to, it's a reminder for the Chewy order, I gotta check that. What if God's plan is for you to acknowledge your own issues, get help with them, keep working on yourself, and then go help someone in some war-torn country or your own war-torn country, inner city wars and Native American poverty, illness, health disparities, like, you know what I mean? There's one teacher, she used to cuss a lot. I was having a hard time because I was that church lady in medical school, and she said to go around the room and talk about some problem or something you have. Not go around the room, sorry. Everyone split up in groups and to talk to each other. So how that make you feel? Like, if some person said, oh, my relative just died of cancer, or I had a stillborn baby, or oh, my dog just had a hip replacement surgery, you know. And she didn't want the people whose dog had hip replacement surgery to feel like their problem didn't count, or that it wasn't as bad as someone's parent getting sick or child getting sick. Like, do you see what I'm saying? She's like, your issues are yours, and you don't need to think that, you know, it makes you feel guilty. And I feel like if you feel guilty about the issue, oh, I stubbed my toe, and 10 minutes later it feels better. But to me, that could be an issue for 10 minutes. Maybe you were supposed to run an Olympic trial race, and you stubbed your toe, and now you just lost any chance of going to Olympics for the rest of your life because of that 10-minute, that episode. You know, like, something could be important. But I feel like if you don't acknowledge it, let yourself deal with it, get help from others, I feel like you'll still have the problem, and it'll be festering and rotting inside, and you'll feel guilt. There's like, what is it called? Survivor's guilt for wars and accidents and fires. The only survivor. It should have been someone else. Sometimes people guilt others. My dad tried to tell me it was my fault my mom died. My mom ate all this artificial sweetener with cancer warnings. She got leukemia. She had not been exercising. She had been overeating. She was obese. you know. And I was taking a test when she died, so it's not like so people try to, gaslight, guilt, shame, and then what are you going to be? So if you have, well, I brought up holidays because of that parental thing with abuse in the home towards me, inappropriate sexual issues in the home. The holidays were pomp and circumstance of the trees, the lights, the little snowman on the porch, or big snowman, it's like 5 foot tall, the little gifts, and the big meal and the fancy dishes. And you can watch the BBC's Pride and Prejudice, or read the book. One of my teachers told us to watch the BBC episode, and you can think of people getting dressed up and getting their hair done and going to these balls, and you want to think like, but when you shut the blinds and turn off the Christmas lights, and people are beaten and inappropriately touching the children, and where does that put your holiday? When you want to decorate because of tradition, or provide your family, your kids, your partner with a holiday meal, those two memories are melded. The holiday, going into the stores, thinking you're getting a gift or doll or a Cabbage Patch, and the abuse that's every day since before you were conceived, and the memories until you die. And how do you not putting up a tree and not having holiday meals and being super poor, not being able to afford gifts and not getting gifts as an adult? That doesn't seem like it cures one, not me, of that connection, because the memories of going to the base exchange, the Cabbage Patch giveaway my brother won, this and this and this. So the next topic, I kind of combine them, the abuse as a child and the holidays. So being in the present, the date I told you, 12/10, people I guess someone said that Hanukkah just ended. People that celebrate Christmas, Muslims will text me and say Merry Christmas more than people that say they're Christians or relatives that celebrate Christmas. It's really interesting to think how people I know that are church attenders don't have any care in the world whether me and my kids are even alive, whether we survive COVID. I've given up on sending 20 cards out to everybody and not having money for cards, so going and looking for handmade cards with construction paper or something the kids got, crayons, like sparkly. I love the sparkle crayons, by the way. A little aquamarine. It's probably my favorite. What's your favorite color? Sparkle aquamarine. What's your favorite color? I used to say, what's your favorite color? Glitter. So, people party. So if you are clean and sober, there's a lot of holiday parties. There's work parties. There's, I got in trouble. I got penalized for not going to work party, and I didn't have a babysitter. And actually, sometimes we had a babysitter. That's one of the people that were at work, so they would have been at the party. That's a whole nother issue with their partner being a sexual pervert and being assaulted by them. They should have gone. I should have made a police report about that, but she gave out gift cards and lots of presents and stuff, and she said, the first year I didn't go, I didn't have a babysitter, and they brought a few gifts, some crappy, I think that's that snowman the kids were looking for, or that Santa thing, and whatever that thing that sits by the door with the beans in its butt. I use it to keep the drafts out. I got that, and that's it. Other people, like, they were just handing out. There's only like 20 employees. They were handing out gift cards and all kind of fun. And people were drinking and having a good old time. And so they had a couple extra presents, so they gave me that one, and no gift cards or anything. And then the next year's like, too bad, if you guys don't go to the party, you don't get the gifts. And it was sad because I was super poor. I never got presents. Every Christmas would come and go, and my kids would get some gifts from relatives and from the housing programs we were in, so needing to make a list. So the kids would get some gifts, something from my dad, and I wouldn't get anything. I wouldn't get any gifts. Once in a while, I get a $20 gift card from my aunt and a Christmas card. So I could say once in a while I did get a gift card, but I went and bought my kids food with it. She said, go buy yourself something nice. I can't even afford freaking anything besides popcorn, which is 99 cents a pound bulk at Wild Oats for organic popcorn that I developed a severe allergy to. So it's really hard to go buy yourself something nice when you go to bed hungry every night. And then the other part about holidays is the hustle and bustle of the people on the roads, and people trying to run you off the road, people texting all this and driving like this, and the decorations, and what's the intention, and who made up decorating, and the lights and the gifts. I see that, I keep talking about some Scandinavian article I read about these people that had the lights, because it was past the Arctic Circle, where it was like twilight and very, very, very dark during the day, and having that, kind of like how that Mediterranean island where the people live a long time, having that festive thing. People have to work and take care of family. I don't even know what kind of farmland or whatever animals they have up there, eating the fish and the fatty acids, the omegas or whatever, and a lot of people had that drinking thing was helping their cardiovascular system, but no, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, people would say that they would have these. It doesn't have to be drinking alcohol, but they're having these festive events. That's very common around the world. So, not all of us can be that so-called normal drinker. But anyways, going about the Christian story of Jesus getting the 3 gifts, or from the 3 kings, what that led to bringing a gift to a savior, to filling your house from floor to ceiling with gifts and asking for gifts, and such happened and having a bad Christmas, please give us a Christmas tree, and all these gifts for my kids. And you know what I did? I never did that. I said to myself, we're together, we're going to go to these meetings. We never even drove around, what is that, Peacock Lane in Portland. I just heard something. And you like don't you raise someone's expectations? It's like getting a $25,000 credit card, and meeting someone on online dating and just spending frivolously, and oh, we're going to go to this restaurant, oh, we're going to stay in these expensive hotels, let's get a plane. You know, in 28 days you rack up $25,000, and then at the end you have this bill, and you have no more credit, you have no money, you didn't have a job in the first place, and now what are you telling your date? Like, oh, you had a month of fun. Like, you would have just had fun holding hands and walking through the park for free. Go to the Audubon, taking the bus to the free movie in the park, you know? Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. And kids are trained to think. And sometimes they go to school and people come back and say, what'd you get for Christmas? My kids had to go back to church and go back. People looked at my kids because they had DS lights. And like, my dad got that. Because they're going to look at me and think that I signed up or that I went and bought that and I was on just welfare. I was working every day. They don't know how much money I was making and how much rent I was paying. My rent, I swear, low-income housing was higher than those church people's mortgages. I know it was. That's a fact. And you can look online at their address and see how much they bought it for back. 4-bedroom house 20 years ago. Out in a new suburb close to the country. 96,000, 80,000, maybe 110,000, depending on what kind of amenities you have in there. $100,000, but the regular down payment, especially if they sold another house, you're going to be paying $400 a month. Come on. They get those same people telling me, you can't own a house because you're not going to be able to pay for the problems that come with the house. When you're paying $400, even $1,200 a month for a mortgage, I'm saving $2,000 a month. I'm saving $1,500 a month in rent. Like, so before your rent's like this, but your mortgage is like this, you're saving this a month with your income. They think that stuff's coming to you. So that comes up during the holidays too, is people judging us and not having the ability to take that stereotype of thinking that because I left my ex-husband end up at shelter, that I was a welfare mom. Go try to get on welfare. I don't even know. I was forced to when I moved into a domestic violence shelter. They said if you don't, you're getting kicked out because you need to have the money so you can go pay. You have a month. Then you have to pay rent, an apartment. And then while you're spending that time getting clean and sober, going to counseling, going to treatment, getting that, health insurance was part of it. I got my teeth fixed for the first time. My teeth were literally falling apart. And they want you to get welfare so you can take care of those problems, those health issues, because if you got to go move into a shelter, you're in poor shape. That means you don't have money for a house, or you're kicked out of the house that you're paying for. I was paying for the apartment that I left because I was leaving for my life. I couldn't stay there because he would know where I was. They kick him out and me and the kids stay there. So I was paying for that apartment and I got kicked out. Or I guess I kicked myself out to a shelter. So that people don't know the story. If I was in pain, my dad was helping him pay. When I was still nursing and not working, I was volunteering but not working for some of the time. So between me and my dad paying, me going to work and paying for the apartment. So could you imagine paying for an apartment and then leaving and having your worker say your abuser knows the people that you work for, quit that job? And so having all these assumptions, like you're paying for an apartment, you flee for life and death into hiding. You have a month, and then you're getting all these health issues. My son had surgery. All this, we didn't have any health insurance and no vaccinations. We had to do all that, get them into school, get a babysitter, pay for the babysitter, pay for the next house that you have to wait list. As soon as you get to the shelter, you have to wait list for these transitional housing. There's no guarantee that you'll get it, but you have to pay about 90% of your income, 80% of your income, because some of it goes to you have to pay utilities. So none of that stuff was given to us. I had to pay a premium on my Medicaid insurance. I had to pay a monthly fee, just like regular insurance. And you still didn't get services, so I was paying doctors out of pocket. Medicines weren't covered, I had to pay out of pocket, you know what I mean? It's not always what some people are on the welfare lottery. They're like doing really well like they are getting stuff. They've signed up for every program. They're in line first to do this, to do that, to do Christmas toys, to get the big dinners and getting the extra vouchers, and because they aren't working and they're able to spend all the time getting rides and this and gas cards and all kind of like. But if you get on there because you're forced and you have to pay for everything, and then you're getting a job and getting into college and working and going to school and having multiple jobs and volunteering, then you end up paying, again, more than you would. Even though we were considered homeless, we're paying like, what, $500 a month in rent. $400, $500 a month in rent. Considered homeless, temporary housing. At any time, they put a note on your door, say your time is up. This is temporary housing. Be like living in a hotel or kind of couch surfing and paying someone to live there. There's some sort of a lease, but it's not for very long. Again, the first one was 4 weeks. So take that in consideration when you think of somebody. There's people that say, oh, I have 6 kids, I'm all these guys, and I'm a single mom, and my car just broke down, I'm supposed to start working at McDonald's, and I just need this and this and this and this. And that you can help that person. It's not easy. And you don't necessarily think, we have the 6 kids, like, every birth is a miracle. So I'm not judging them on that. But sometimes it would be appropriate to use condoms, at least bare minimum. You can get free from the health department. Sometimes you already do something, you make a decision. Maybe you were drinking when that happened and you didn't think clearly. But there's people like that are like, oh, look at my cute kids. Oh, look at me, I have this cute lashes, please help me. And the money will pour in and people will stand up, and I'll be like, help, I just got in an accident, help, my rent just went up, help this. Nobody helps, not even $1. I had GoFundMe's, $0. Look at me, why am I made to suffer with my children? Social service yelled at me and said that I was going to be even raised even higher if I called back. So I couldn't call back to have the letter from my dad that said, no, I don't give her any money anymore. And I've been on an even worse downhill spiral since. Counseling issues. So I raised some of the concerns of the present issue with the hustle and bustle of the holidays, sensing the energy. There's a lot of retired folks around, a lot of older folks, got grandkids, or they're buying themselves something. Oh, it's get something for the house in this time of year. And there's a lot of folks that are literally in a rage. They want to get here and then there and get their doctor's appointment and get here and go to this holiday get together or this fundraiser or the church things happening and the bazaars happening. I feel like this time of year is the middle of summer, wrong side of the world, the middle of winter, and it's dark and the sun looks so beautiful low. Let me show you a picture. So I sense all of this, and it feels like we should be chill coming up to the solstice and slowly awaken when the sun starts getting higher in the sky and the days get longer. And I feel like we go in the summer and we get the kids to school, there's all this sports and this and people, I have to park here, my kid's playing baseball, blah blah blah, you gave someone a ticket, blah blah blah. And then you like emerge into winter when you should be like, someone feed the cows, someone water the winter wheat out there, we gotta sit around, we gotta make this fire out there, we gotta keep the babies warm, snuggle them up in furs or whatever, and keep the soup spinning or stirred, and like, so comb the kids' hair, sweep the bathroom, like, I feel like it's some kind of farmer primitive thing where you're still up and out on, but you're not just at this amped up place. But I feel like in January comes, people get the energy from the longer days, the weather fluctuates, and it's like too much. Kids going back to college, and it's like, and then towards summer, instead of like this dip And then slowly to spring, March, and April, start to yawn and say, oh, what a beautiful day. Like, we're already like this when summer starts, when we should have been like that, and summer should be like that. So we're like amped up. We have technology, we have stuff, but we're not changing nature, we're not changing the sun, we're not changing the moon patterns, we're not changing the weather patterns. We're not changing this cold and dark. I feel like it's a clue for the body to say it's cold, it's dark. Go to sleep. Bundle up. And I get at the end of winter super depressed, like, and I realized 2 or 3 years ago, at least, that I realized that, what is that in the picture? Oh, those are the clouds. I realized that I wasn't getting vitamin D, I wasn't getting out as much of fresh air and exercise, and it feels like you're not eating as much produce. So you're like, oh my god, my body's like corrupted. Like, but what is it like for the squirrels? What is it like for the animals? What is it like for the bears when the last of the berries that they are pecking through, you know, not somebody's bird feed or whatever. So I'm going to end the video with this picture, but I'm not ending it yet because the third thing I want to talk about was the counseling. I learned something else when I went to naturopathic school. I went to college after high school for 17 years. A couple of the years were doing out-of-hospital births for like 2 years and 9 months or 3 years, about, plus add another 2 years onto that. So 5 years of extra training in births before I even am getting certified as a whole different category, but yeah, kind of interlocked. Another 2 years I spent after the 17 years in college to be a doctor, a naturopathic doctor, was in geriatrics. And in a naturopathic school, they train you to do all ages, including how to deliver a baby. So I'm not getting the appropriate counseling, and it feels like the analogy of having a menu or online menu. You ordered the chicken fried rice and a milkshake, and you go to your takeout orders. Have a nice day. You go home. You pay the money. You gave a good tip. And you have pork, sausage with mushrooms, and an apple pie. And you're like, well, I'm not going to eat apple pie. I'm allergic to gluten. I'm not going to eat pork because I'm pork free. You say, you had this menu. I went in, hired you to do this job, but you made your own decision of what we're going to talk about today, what we're going to do today. I hired you for this specific thing, and you're going to tell me that we're not going to do it. Oh, next week. But you just keep getting paid. And I'm a sucker because I'm going to go back and order from the same restaurant, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and come home with this food that I can't eat. I have to throw it away or give it to someone else. I'll say, well, don't worry. You helped somebody out. You gave them a nice tip. You got out of the house, got a little fresh air. You drove the car, kept that engine running and cold while get the battery go. Justify, like, oh, God's will. Oh, sorry, I'm doing my YouTube video. Why? Do you want to be in the video? I was just about to end it. Thank you. Want me to pause it? How long? Anyways, it's insanity is the whole point. I usually stop the video when anybody comes near me. I feel like tears in my eyes because my partner wants me to be happy, and I keep bringing up the past, and I stopped watching some helpful YouTube channels because they're talking about the same things. I could really relate, and I ought to go back to them, but I felt like some of us just get stuck in a rut. But if it helps someone else, You can get stuck in your mind. You can't make a counselor help you. You can't make somebody donate to your cause. You can't make somebody give you a job. You can't make someone love you. But if you end up getting stuck in a rut and talking about it, it could help someone else hear the message and help them get out of immediate danger from these toxic people. Or if you feel like, why do I feel anxious around the holidays? Why do I feel like buying a bunch of stuff? Why I felt like buying stuff in fall? Because I was outside in nature and the squirrels were going crazy burying acorns everywhere. I think there's a natural, like caveman, like, look, the dark clouds, dark sky coming, cold, like, there's not going to be blueberries and blackberries and root vegetables, and I don't even know what fishing would be like. So what I want to leave you is, if I don't decorate, I will do what I can to clean. My nightmare was full of cockroaches in the video, in my dream. To just rewire, change my thinking to help rewire the damage done, caused by the childhood issues that professionals know that the wiring gets different. You're hypervigilant and you're anxious, and that stuff is passed on to my own kids. So I think about looking into where I saw the Nordic article about the twilight, and it's same in Alaska and Russia, I guess, and Canada. But here's the photograph of, it's like the computer. Yesterday while I was at work.